Then a Hip Hop album review, A$AP Rocky, At.Long.Last.A AP. Before we get into that review, make sure you support your hip hop channel, Dead End Hip Hop. We have fan funding. You can find it at deadendhiphop.com. Also on the YouTube channel. If you support A$AP Rocky, you fuck with this album and it bumps in your whip, make sure you go into the description below, hit that link, buy the album, support A$AP Rocky. And I'm also going to throw it to the other guys because they got some things that they want to get out the way.
B and I, we were on a local podcast here in Atlanta last weekend, Runaway Jukebox. We did an interview on there. We'll include a link in the description. Check that out. Shout out to them.
On SoundCloud.
On SoundCloud.
And if you get a chance, subscribe to my channel, YouTube, BZ430.com, BZ430. Did a review with Mike C-Town Odyssey, The Good Fight. So check it out. And if you like what you hear from us talking about it, buy the album. The link is in the description box. So check it out and subscribe. So I got Knowledge Hood Dreams coming soon too.
I did a podcast with a company called 4th District, some up-and-coming hip-hop fans doing some hip-hop shit. We'll put the link in the description section down there. Make sure you guys go check that out and support those guys, man. They're doing good stuff.
With A$AP, I remember that first album. I know I went back and I was like, okay, I was wrong because this is more so the music that I like. The second album, compared to the first one, you know, now looking back, I didn't think was as good, but I think the majority of us fucked with it. But going into this one, I knew certain elements what to expect. I expected dope flows, I expected dope beats, and that's it. Because with A$AP, that's what I've always said about Rocky that attracts me to his music. But on this project right here, he pushed further. For me, it was more than just those two things. The production on this fucking album is amazing, stellar. This right here in 2015 is the album that bumps hardest in the whip for me. I'll put it to you like that, just based off of production. I think tracks like Max B, there's not many artists that can take something that's soulful like that and then add this dude named Joe Fox. I don't even know who Joe Fox is.
He's a singer out of England that he randomly bumped into on the streets of London at 4 a.m. in the morning. And he tried to give him a free CD. He asked him to play something. He did. He started fucking with him. Now he's, you know, his
just got all the facts today.
Yeah, he do. The fact man.
I didn't know who the fuck he was. Yeah. Joe Fox, and I looked it up, and so I had to look it up.
Yeah, but on that Max B track, that's just hard. And I don't know too many artists that'll hard stop something, completely go into something else and come back and it sound relatively cohesive. I mean, he did that a couple times, and then just the features alone, like he had Kanye on this on Jukebox Joints, which I think is another dope track on here. He had Lil Wayne on M's, again, just like on Tyler the Creator's album. I heard this and I'm like, okay, I'm actually becoming a little bit more excited for the Carter 5 or 6 or 7 whenever he drops that, because if this is what Wayne is going toward, which I really hope it is, I can say he's building my anticipation for his next project. Wavy Bone. This motherfucker went and got UGK. Not just Bun B, but he got also Pimp C. And that beat right there is dope. I like the beat switch up. Rocky did his thing.
I don't know how he got Pimp C.
Well, you already know.
I mean, I know that, but I'm just saying, like, that just totally caught me off guard.
How? Like, you're talking about a New York rapper.
No, I know that came across my mind.
Will you rap on my song? Yes. That's my nigga.
So I've been trying to figure that shit out for weeks.
Yeah, I've been really stressing about this. How did you get Pimp C? I'm sure he did. How did you get Pimp C on that track?
Pimp C don't have a lot of verses just randomly floating out there. I mean, for Bun B to bless, you know, A$AP with the Pimp C verse, man, that's crazy to me.
But at the same time, like with A$AP being, you know, a New York rapper, and from the get-go saying he's been influenced by the South. Exactly, Houston specifically.
Yeah.
You know, and for him to be where he is, I think that it's okay to approach a Bun B or all of these Juicy J, you know what I'm saying, all of these Southern artists, and they fuck with him because I think he's proven that he does that style of hip
I
hop.
don't even think it's a proof thing. He's been getting love like that from the jump.
Yeah, he has.
From the jump, from
Yes.
Southern artists?
He's been
Everybody
getting
knows.
jump.
Yeah,
Like-
I can't even front.
Yeah,
I
he's
can't
been
even
getting
front.
love.
Yeah.
I can't even front. And then Electric Body with Schoolboy, like that motherfucker's hard. That shit needs to be played in the strip club. JD is hard as fuck, like that beat. Excuse me. Now, Excuse Me I thought was a little interesting because I love the beat, but the beat on the hook, it's like I wanted more. I felt like the hook portion of that song just made me want more, but I fuck with it. And then the one that I was like, all right, so there's 2 songs on here that I could probably do without. The first one I'll talk about is LSD. I fuck with LSD mainly because he was rapping like he was on LSD. And, well, not rapping, singing. This motherfucker was singing. And I don't particularly, it was tight and it fit what he was trying to do, but that's not necessarily something that I'm like, oh yeah, I need to listen to that motherfucker. But it's cool. I get it. He expanded his range of what he does, and I think he executed it well. It's just that wasn't made for me. And then also West Side Highway. West Side Highway was not necessarily for me, but it bumps in the whip and it's cool. But I feel like out of this whole project, that was the one that he kind of like was like, okay, let me make something that could possibly make radio. And I feel like that was the first one, you know what I'm saying, that sounded like a radio track to me. But overall, Far Side was dope. This whole fucking project, Holy Ghost, he started off hard as fuck, Canal Street, and I also like on Fine Wine how he used Future, you know what I'm saying, with that whole beat switch up and everything. I'm not a Future fan. I don't even particularly like Future on that track, but compared to the shit that I heard Future on, I thought it was more innovative. I thought it was a little bit more creative from the shit that I've heard Future on. But yo, hands down, this motherfucker is dope as fuck, beginning to end for me. I bumped it. This is what gets the most rotation in my car right now, and on the headphone, on the iPod, on everything. Like, this is what I'm playing.
This is his most complete body of work that I've heard from him to date. You know, it has a consistent sound sonically throughout it, but for whatever reason, it doesn't sound like it drags to me. Because I've seen people kind of complaining about it being too long. It's an hour and 6 minutes. So, but for whatever reason, that didn't really bother me that much. So I don't think that was a big complaint that I had. But I'm just, you know, the first song that I heard was Pretty Flacco 2. And I was like, oh, that shit is tight. Like, and even at the beginning of the year, this was one of the albums that I was really interested in hearing. And when I was sitting down listening to it, I was astounded by how every time a song came on, I was impressed. Because it wasn't what I expected from ASAP at all. His beat selection has always been on point. It's always been one of the things that I've liked about him. But for me, he really stepped it up rapping. I think he's definitely improved a lot.
I think it is dramatic, and I think it's fair to say that because at least for me, I know that his flows always capture me, but what he was saying never did. And I think this is the first project where what he was saying had my ears like, oh, wait, hold on, let me rewind that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was actually saying shit on this. So no, I don't think it's unfair or, you know, a slight on his part to say that.
Yeah, I mean, even he acknowledges this is his best work, but most rappers do when they put out a new album. But yeah, even on Holy Ghost, when he did the rappers are slaves analogy, and who told the slaves that they can own their masters, and you know, his whole approach, you know, his whole thoughts on religion and stuff like that, I thought was dope. And even this Bones guy, who is kind of like, I think he's affiliated with this guy Young Lean. I was even surprised. I think that's the same guy, but I was even surprised to see him on there because he's kind of typically one of those guys that's really underground, who has like a certain select following, but he puts out like a ton of albums with this Team Smash, whatever affiliation that he has. But when I saw that, I was wondering if that was that guy. So it shows to me like he's really like in tune with a lot of things that's going out here in the culture of hip hop. But yeah, man, just the Juicy J, the M's, Lil Wayne, that was dope. Of course, you know, obviously Rod Stewart. Kudos to him for really taking his craft and his art serious, man, to put out a project as complete as this sounds to me.
Yeah, going into this, I know when it came out, I'm thinking like, oh man, we gonna have to review this, cause you know y'all know I'm not the biggest A$AP Rocky fan at all. The first 6 tracks for me were very like depressing, but I will say this, and you know this is some progression. I actually got some few tracks on here that I actually really like, that I really enjoy, and that's like a first time for A$AP Rocky album. But yeah, the first 6 tracks was just the production. It was just too LSD. Fine Wine,
Too slow for you?
Yeah, too slow, and then he doing that deep voice tempo flow on Fine Wine. Didn't really, you know, that usual A$AP Rocky, you know, style that he do. But when it got to Lord Pretty Flacco
Flacco
2, I was like, holy shit! I said, okay, that joint right there. I was like, I'm up in here.
Tough.
Yeah, that shit was tough. Then it got to Electric Body. And you know him and it's something about him and Schoolboy Q. They always feed off well each other.
They need a mixtape. They need a project together.
Electric Body, I was like, okay, yes, I like how Schoolboy Q was doing his that hyperactive type of flow that he always does. Not always, but that he spontaneously does sometimes. I like that Schoolboy Q. So them two, I thought that was dope. I thought Jukebox Joints was dope. How they had at the second beat flipped up with the Smokey Robinson sample. Kanye verse. His verses.
Nah, I like this shit.
I said he didn't add nothing to it.
I like this verse. I like this verse, man.
Yeah,
with the white man sweat, white man confidence.
Yeah,
I like that, man.
Yeah, I still like Jukebox Joints. I like Jukebox Joints. That was dope. I didn't care for Max B and Farside. They were too depressing. Especially Farside. That was just too slow. Yeah, I was just like, I don't like that. Like if for me, A$AP Rocky is not even, he doesn't grab my attention as an MC. So if you're gonna do that, you better be a good enough MC to grab my attention if you're gonna be that slow and rap off that slow tempo type of music. Wavy Bone, that's another one of my favorite joints. I love that Juicy J produced track. Bun B, Pimp C, they did their thing. At least A$AP Rocky was able to kind of, he didn't let the features outshine him. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like, oh, obvious, we forgot that A$AP Rocky was flowing on here. But you know, for the most part, that's the first 6 was just like.
So you ain't fuck with Canal Street, big? How do you not fuck with that?
It was depressing. It was that slow tempo. Like I said, if you're gonna rhyme at that pace, be a good enough MC to me to grab my attention. And he just.
So you don't feel like he stepped up lyrically, like they were saying.
Like I said, I actually got some tracks in here that I really enjoy. So in my opinion, I guess he stepped up, Rob. I guess if he got some tracks that I like.
Yeah, first song I heard on this album was LSD, and I was like, oh shit, I love this. That song, I was like, man, I fucking love this song. It's weird, and the video is weird as shit, but I fucking love it. So I was like, man, I really hope the album sounds like that. The album doesn't really sound like that in particular, but I think this album is fucking amazing. From the first song, the way he's rhyming, and it's just so dark and smooth, and it's just, like I said, it's the way he rhymes over a beat that, you know, church bells tell him quiet down, you know, the holy, what did he say, the holy one is around, or something like that, and it goes into Canal Street, it just stays smooth, and it goes into Fine Wine, and every song, like Ken, I'm like, damn, I'm actually impressed with the way he's rapping. Because he definitely stepped if not lyrically, he's stepping up his flow patterns. Like, the way he's rhyming over these beats is really, really dope. And y'all remember, I was not an A$AP fan. Mm-hmm. And I'm still not a fan of that first mixtape. I still don't really like that. But everything he's done since, I thought was quality. But this is his best project. I'm going to tell you right now, Fine Wine, when you can make a song that has Future on it and I'm not instantly annoyed, that goddamn song is a gem.
I didn't even know it was Future because I wasn't looking at the track list.
Me either. It didn't even bother me. I could spot MIA because I just know her voice, but I didn't know it was Future. It didn't bother me one bit. Every single song on here was just really, really, really dope. Hold on a second. Farside. I thought that song was brilliant. And that the dope thing about that song is that song does not really sound like any of the other songs, but it still fit perfectly. Like, this was one of the most cohesive projects, without sounding samey, that I've heard in a really, really long time. A$AP Rocky put together a project that is totally moody. Like the mood stays consistent throughout the entire project, with the exception of the one song that I did not like, and that's Wavy Bone. Yeah, I did not like that song. It did not fit. The beat was way too, it was almost too southern, to where it didn't fit the whole artistic mode of this album. When it got to that song, I was just like, in the scheme of this project, it really didn't fit. But I'm not gonna dwell on that, because it doesn't matter, because that's one song out of fucking 18.
You like West Side Highway?
I liked all of it. West Side Highway I thought was dope too. I wasn't really familiar with James Fauntleroy, and I can't remember the hook, but I remember thinking the hook was a little bit weird. It was fucking you something. Damn, I can't remember the
I thought it
hook.
was Frank Ocean for a minute.
That's not Frank Ocean. It's
I know
Frank,
it's not, but
yeah.
And when I heard the hook, I thought it was Frank Ocean.
For some reason, I read James Fauntleroy, but for some reason in my head, I saw James Vanderbeek, the guy from Dawson's Creek. So I was like, damn, A$AP got Dawson? So I was trying to see what Dawson was gonna say, and Dawson didn't come in rapping. Now that made me go back and look. But hold on, we gotta talk for a minute. We gotta talk about the MVP of this whole goddamn album. Weezy! Come on! Y'all not gonna tell me Weezy didn't snap on this shit.
Yeah,
Weezy? Bruh, when I heard this shit, I was like, wait a minute, that is Wayne?
That shit's shocking.
He blew me away. You haven't listened to this shit yet.
Not having
Man,
He fucking up.
Bruh,
I just haven't had time.
but niggas better wear riot gear. Cause when I come and pound loud, I give diarrhea. Come on, man. Come on, man. Hey,
A lot of lines.
Wayne did have a lot of lines, man. Like, and it wasn't even what he was saying. It was the way he was saying it. Like,
It was aggressive or something?
yeah, it was aggressive,
the way he was
and
rapping.
his flow was
Yeah.
so dope. I was like, damn, this is Wayne? Wayne, for real. I'm not bullshit. I'm not making jokes. I'm being dead ass serious. Wayne snapped on this track. This makes me want to hear Carter
You with you?
5. Yes.
Yeah, Carter.
After this and the
And the-
verse from the last from Tyler,
Tyler.
I really want to hear what Wayne does, because remember we were talking about that and you're like, maybe that's why it's not getting put out, because he's too sober. I think Wayne sounds better
It's funny.
sober.
I like
No,
Wayne
yeah,
verse
yeah.
yeah. better than this one.
No, I thought the Wayne verse on this was crazy, because Wayne was
That
not
verse
just
with that beat.
yeah, and the way he was like on Tyler's shit, Wayne was just doing the typical, I'm Weezy, and he was that kind of
Maybe
on
I
this.
like him and Tyler was going back and forth. Maybe I don't know.
Nah,
I like
man,
that.
I'll kill you and your dog and then put on a shirt that says PETA for life. Man, I was like, this is the kind of Wayne that I love, man. But yeah, even when I got to Every Day, when I saw Rod Stewart, I'm like, how the fuck you got Rod Stewart? And every day, feeling fine, drinking wine. Man, A$AP put out a fucking gem. This album is one of the best things I've heard this year. And you know what? What's really interesting to me though, I feel like this is what Cudi should have been. Like, this is what Cudi should have been. And I'm not even saying just sonically. I'm saying when it comes to making free music, not free as in I'm not paying for it, but free as in there's no box. There's no boundaries.
No
I'm still
coloring
hip
inside that
hop,
line.
but at the same time, I want to do something completely free. Cudi should have moved more to me in this direction. These airy beats, the way he's rhyming. I think A$AP is kind of like Cudi without that ego. Because that ego is what made Cudi think he can put out any old fucking album. I will say one drawback to this project. I do think it was way too fucking long. And the reason it sounds like it's too long, even though I love every song, the reason it sounds so long is because it has that mood, that laid back. Now, here's when you're not gonna think it sounds too long. Can you make a guess?
When you hot?
I think if you were fucked up, this album would be the perfect length.
Oh.
This album, I don't smoke or do drugs, none of that shit.
Like-
Yeah, this album, because you can tell he was talking about how he was really influenced by doing LSD, listening to this album. And when you listen to this, it makes sense. I don't fuck with LSD or any of that kind of shit, but I listen to a lot of that music. And when you listen to this, it definitely has that psychedelic feel without sounding corny.
Yeah.
So I think that if you were fucked up, this would be fine. But I'm typically not fucked up like that. I might be drunk. I can't listen to this. but it was a little bit too long. It's over an hour, and it's over an hour of the same kind of laid back mood. So that was a little bit of a drawback for me, but everything else, tight.
If you're watching ASAP Rocky, I 100% fuck with this album. This is your best work to date, and you are progressing. And I find it interesting, like, you know, that kind of clump of artists that, you know, started to break through the industry kind of when we started. Like, we're starting to see them really sharpening up that sword and putting out projects that are dope. And I feel like more and more of these artists are getting more comfortable with who they are as artists and really expanding their lanes. You know what I'm saying? I think that ASAP, he's about to be starring in a movie too. So he got a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? And I think that this right here, not to lose the sight of what got you to that point to start making other moves with this album, I think is really dope. And I'm excited from here on out. You know what I'm saying? But now I have expectations. Now I have real big expectations based off of this album. So the next, you know, from here on out, man, like I'm waiting. I am anticipating more work, hands down. Dope shit. Keep doing what you're doing.
Man, I just gotta say I appreciate your dedication to the craft and how you really took time, and to me it took time to put together this album, a complete album that I thoroughly enjoyed from front to back. And you bring your own individual style and personality and flair. This is what you're gonna do, man. You got a new fan, man. Stay on the path, keep doing what you're doing. I'm not like people where I'm anticipating other project. I'm really gonna sit and enjoy this one for right now. So yeah, man, keep it up.
Not really a big fan of you like that, but you know, at least with this album, I got some songs of enjoyment from you. So I guess that is some type of progression that I guess you're putting in my eyes. But other than that, I mean, I don't even know what else to say really. I gotta do the FIFA right on this one. Yeah, I mean, I can't, you know. I guess he's gotten better. I mean, I don't plan on listening to any of his albums again. I mean, you know, I'm just being for real. I mean, but I do appreciate that I was able to find something good out of this album that I really liked from you, that I really enjoyed. Like, I was like, damn, I enjoyed these songs, and the replay value on those songs was pretty high. So that's good. That's a good step in the right direction in my book. So other than that, I mean, just keep doing your thing.
I think you fucking knocked it out of the park on this. One thing I do think that you're gonna make people do is start taking their music seriously in a way of actually being creative. And I don't remember who else said that, but actually being yourself and actually putting yourself more into your music. But yeah, enough of blabbering on about how great this project is. There's one thing I gotta do, and I'm not sure if I did this on the last one, but if you're watching, I have to sincerely apologize for the things that I said in that first review of the first mixtape. I can admit when I'm wrong, and I think that I was being very judgmental. I think I jumped to conclusions, and I think I said a lot of things that were really, really, really unfair. I get mad when people say, oh, you just don't get it. You just don't get it. I really do think that at that point, I did not get it. I did not get what you were trying to go for. Now I get it. I still do not particularly sonically enjoy the first mixtape, but I get what you were going for. And I think what you started on that mixtape, you have absolutely solidified and perfected on this project. So keep doing this, keep making albums like this, keep making dudes get creative and put out art instead of just music that makes money. So yeah, you had a fan on the last project, now you have a stan. So good job, man.